one on that.
All right. Love it.
Now we're just waiting on JJ. We got to whip him into shape somehow.
Man, we got the greatest production manager in the world, dude.
He might get a demotion if he can't get this going for us.
There you go. You always get into the racist stuff.
That had nothing to do with race. Demoting a guy for an inadequate work job.
It sounded like you're fired to me. Just translation. I mean, I'm just saying.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, boy.
Right.
And he can fire himself, but we're not going to get rid of him.
Right.
That's right.
You know, I'll stop right there because we can go down the road.
I love it. You guys are good?
Okay.
All right.
That's the one you like for the intro, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That one's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. All right. See, I'm like going to wave, hi, everyone.
Right.
What's that all about? I don't get nervous when I do
So,
this.
Sam, so the thing is, you ain't got to look over here.
Okay, cool. My bad.
Yeah, you got
that's your
that,
camera right
and
there.
you got that.
Right here.
Yeah.
Look,
Mhm.
so that's your camera. So when you talking, you can look at Jonas. When you talking to Jonas, or talking to the
Yeah,
camera.
and a lot of what we do is...
But you ain't got to be like it sound like,
Yeah.
I'm saying something.
Yeah, we just
You
talk
ain't
to each
gotta-
other.
Yeah,
Right.
we're talking to each other.
Yeah, we don't have to look at the cameras. We're just...
Yeah, no.
It's just us doing us,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, we back at the
Imaginary. The cameras ain't real.
Yeah, we're just guys having a conversation.
That's right. Just
Let's go back to like the men's breakfast and the listening
that's
circle.
right, that's right.
Sitting around, figuring it out.
Or even like our conversation the other day where we were supposed to do the podcast and we just had that conversation.
Invisible podcast.
Invisible podcast. That's right.
Mm.
We did that.
Mm.
We did invisible.
Podcast.
Now, you see, I got to hear about this.
They learned to walk
Yeah.
differently.
Oh, see,
That was good.
Well, we ended up doing a walk differently. By the time it was over, they were just like, man, I need to walk differently.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
it was so rich, we just didn't have
wow, that's
microphones, so
bad.
we called it the
The
Invisible
Invisible
podcast.
That was
great.
It was
Invisible
powerful, too.
podcast.
That was a
man,
practice
that
run.
was a powerful
I love it.
conversation.
Man.
That was great.
That's
And
the
they-
kind of stuff I live for.
Yeah.
And when they got finished, they said, you know what? I got to walk differently.
That's right.
So I sent them a text the next day. I said, walk differently today.
That's right.
So are y'all still doing it?
Oh yeah.
We need to get going here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're rolling.
Let's go.
We're wasting time.
go.
We're
Yeah,
having
let's
good
do it.
conversations about
We
good
are.
conversation. We could have a good conversation.
That's right.
All right, let's go. It's on
here
you,
we go.
Jay.
It's on me. All right. We ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's go.
Hey, everyone. I don't know how to talk today.
See?
It's me. It's on me this time. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Walk Differently podcast. I'm Jake, and we wanted to thank you for joining us today. See, I messed that one up, too. I got to do it right here because I'm not reading it. See,
What?
that's what I'll do.
That's why you should have said
I
the
should've- I
teleprompter.
should've.
I
We
got
got
an
it.
improv.
I'm not gonna do that to myself today. I'm just gonna do it right, and we'll keep going. Okay.
Let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Walk Differently podcast, sponsored by Harmony Coalition. We're so thankful you joined us today. I'm Jake. I'm here with Lamont, and we've got a couple of surprise guests today. We've got Sam,
Yes, sir.
and we got Jonas.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Welcome everybody.
Welcome,
Thank you. Thank you.
welcome to the
Pleasure to be here.
Happy to be
sandbox.
here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we just wanted to bring these guys in today and just have a conversation about some of the things, Lamont and I have discussed in previous episodes, how we've gotten together and we've had some great times at men's breakfasts and other things that we've done. And we wanted to bring them in and get their perspective on how they thought it went and what they experienced. And so we'll start with you today.
I was going to tell you, too.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, too, as a matter of fact, it actually started because of these guys.
Oh, yeah, it did. That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we didn't, if you think about it, Jake, we didn't start off with like a men's breakfast. It started off with, hey, let's spend some time with Sam and his friends who were kind of getting, early in their Christian walk, learning the Christian walk, and kind of say he had about 6, 7 guys, and let's have breakfast. So it started out with us before the men's breakfast. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Jake. Go ahead.
no, it's good.
Yeah,
To have good context for the basis is wonderful. So I just remember when we first got together and I first started meeting some guys, it was just, it was something new that I hadn't experienced before. It was just a large group, a small group of guys that were able to get together and just be vulnerable and be honest and be open. But it was revolved around, team building. It revolved around community. And there was the age range and the range of different people was so varied. It just brought such joy to my heart to see. So, Sam, what do you remember about those first breakfasts we got together?
For me, they were really transforming, I'd say. And like, I'll say unexpectedly so, from the mindset of, I'm like, okay, free food with my friends. Like, I had a very naive perspective on it. Right. When my dad even described it to me, I was kind of just like, okay, what is this? I remember talking to you and I'm like, where are you taking me? Like, there was a lot of just like, I didn't know almost what it was going to be. But just having like a circle of people I'm close to, people who genuinely like are willing to be open and are willing to receive openness, it's very unprecedented, I feel like, for society now. So it was a really cool experience that I feel like I wish more people could have.
That's cool. And then, of course, Mr. Jonas, love to hear a little bit about your background, and you and Sam's background on how you met him. I remember Sam. First of all, these guys are both award-winning students. Sam won their senior year. Sam won the top award at the school. Jonas had the second award of just character and integrity and leadership. So that was really kind of cool. But they weren't always. They knew each other, but they weren't friends. And then all of a sudden, Sam has a vast array of friends, And I used to be like, Sam, I said, you most of your friends ain't black, I mean, that's just a black parent, And I'm like, you got any black people? What are black friends at? How come you don't run with the brothers, in some capacity? And he told me about this young man named Jonas. And a couple of other guys. He had other ones that he associated with, but his group was really kind of a multicultural group. And he can tell you a little bit more about that later. But Jonas, he said, man, it's this guy named Jonas. He's always positive and this and that. And so I finally met Mr. Jonas, and that's another story. But Jonas started coming to the breakfast too. But staying on that topic, when you came, I think he wanted to do some public speaking and do different things. I'm like, come on out. So he became the host of the breakfast for the men's breakfast over time. But you can tell a little bit about your own experience.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Sam, right? Like when you told me about the vision at first, I shared it. I was like, I like where we're going, but at the same time, I'm also one of those people where I kind of have to see it play out first. Mm-hmm. And so, when we got there and everything started rolling and everything like that, I was like, wow. This is great, And one thing, I told you this too, I've always enjoyed being around older folks as well. There's just so much more knowledge, you know what I mean? People like you guys who have that experience are really able to pour that on to the younger generation. And so I really appreciated what was happening there, as well as having that balance of being with people, friends my age and stuff like that, so like Sam, Bass, all of them. Having all of them there with me and everything like that as well just made it so much more like diverse in terms of like the age and everything like that as well. But such a big impact for people our age. We needed that. We've talked about this generation before, and just kind of like, young men you look at today's generation and you kind of see where we are, and there's a lot of things that still need to happen for us to get where we need to be. And so by being at the men's listening circle and getting to hear all these different stories, it really elevated my perspective. And then, of course, you presented me with the opportunity to get to speak out as well. Really kind of helped me work on those skills, too. That was another thing as well.
Public speaking?
Yes.
Yeah, you did your first
speech
at, what do you call it, monologue or whatever?
That's right. And the first one, man, I was definitely nervous for sure for the first time. It was a smaller group of people and everything like that. But, it kind of takes time to kind of work up, get comfortable, but oh man, I think I was trying to hold back tears after the first one because I was just like, wow, like I really did that, Mm-hmm. It was great. And then having Sam and the boys on the side, kind of being there too, and getting to witness that was also just super impactful. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I remember what you spoke on that day was opportunity.
That's right, opportunity.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, and I remember thinking how just impactful it was to me.
Right.
And here I am, at the time I was pushing 50, and
right.
Here's this young boy coming in, and he's gonna give this talk, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And I was like, I was blown away with just, you were focused, you were engaging, you know, you owned it. And I was just really impressed by that.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing too, even in that, was, you know, we did it a few years and it grew and it went to the breakfast and we had all types of individuals coming from. I was wondering what that was.
Trying to make sure that's not mine. Let me do this real quick. Let me just.
Okay, back there, but we had all kind of people coming to the breakfast at that time, and then, you know, a couple of years later, you know, we have his first presentation that he gave and his last one, and just to see the growth in presentation and stuff. So it's been. And then Sam and his guys, we also had a young man named Silas. He came in and he did a video of it. So a lot of that stuff we'll be releasing and kind of sharing, you know, those things. And let me ask you this. So some of the conversations we had were talking about manhood. You know, you guys were kind of transitioning into probably about 16, 17 when we first started getting together with that group. And what were some of the things that you all, because first of all, we kind of talked about putting your faith out front at school, you know. And tell us about some of you all's friends, you know, because I think we had discussions on the diversity of your friends, I think, and how do you feel like it was a place for everyone? Because I think some of the things, like when you try to share your faith and have a Christian breakfast or whatever, we had some discussions and we got some pushback from you guys. Because you tell us about that pushback.
I feel like Christianity, and me and Jonas talk about this all the time, so I know he can like alley-oop for me for this, but like, I feel like Christianity in our generation specifically has a negative connotation, which sucks, but it's kind of just on people who say they're Christian. And for us, it was kind of like, if I had a friend who wasn't Christian, who wanted to come to the breakfast, or just a friend who...
Tell us about some of your friends that may not be Christian, just kind of the variety of people that you ran with.
I ran with everybody. I kind of prided myself on that. I still do, especially like in college. It's such a vast range of people, but also like some of the nicest people I've ever met are not Christian. And when that happens, my perspective kind of changed. Because I'm not going to go on a whole, 5-minute podcast rant. But, from my elementary school, it was a very sheltered kind of Christian community. And then I transitioned from that to a more diverse middle school when I meet people from all different backgrounds, religions, etc. And then it's like, okay, your views are challenged when you meet people who say they're Christian, but they may say something harsh or rude. And then people who don't say they're Christian, they might be kind. So then it's like, I wanted to just run with good people. And then when it came to the breakfast and just that mindset, it was kind of like, where can people be accepted? That was always my viewpoint on it. And how can, I guess, I show them a good example of Christianity by just showing them love?
I mean, you practically took the words right out of my mouth now, I'll be honest. To me, there's so many different elements that tell you, to be Christian, you gotta do this. To be Christian, you gotta do that. All these different elements. I like to keep it simple. Christianity is love because God is love, right? And so, what's the best way to reflect love? You show love through action, through the way you talk to people, through the way you treat people, through the way you care for others, through the communities that you try to build. And that's a really good skill set that Sam has too. So, for me, in high school, throughout high school, the way I was walking and everything like that, I didn't really whenever I went to go treat people certain ways and everything like that, I didn't think, I have to do this so that they can see I'm Christian. I have to do this so they can see. I just did it. It's not like I have it scripted down, ready to just go out there and just do it. I'm just naturally that way. Mm-hmm. And that's how God was too, a naturally just loving person. And so I'm like, let's just keep it simple. Let's just do that. And so whenever we would transition into the men's breakfast, one of the, I think some of the pushback that we gave you guys when we were talking about at one point too was sometimes especially with today's world and kind of where we are with Christianity, everything like that, for those who are not Christian, and because of how Christianity can be betrayed and how some Christian people can act, that a lot of times can give people the wrong idea of what's this environment or community that they're trying to create. When you present it out there as Christian, immediately people who have been church hurt or hurt by Christianity and stuff like that, they're like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And so back to Sam's point, how can we create that environment while still kind of carrying those values? Show up with love. Doesn't matter where they're from, what they look like, they sound like. Show up with love. It's that simple, really.
I got another one for y'all because I know y'all pretty good, man.
Right.
You'll trip off this, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these guys, they're two black boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have talked about your challenges in fitting in with the African American community. I mean, your own.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it got quiet, didn't it?
No, we got it.
Yeah, no.
I mean, is that true? I
Yeah,
but I thought that was it. So I'm thinking, so it's communities we're trying to get in, and but go ahead.
After you say. Go
I'm gonna go back to like the elementary school point. I have a joke with like my close friends. I was colonized in elementary school because I was one of the few I was the only black person in my group.
Right.
And there's always been like a longing to be accepted by the black community, because I felt like when I was younger, I didn't really know what that was. There was no one I really shared that with, other than my dad, of course. So it was
real black.
Yeah, black. Yeah. So I was always like, where do I find that? I guess, right. And I don't know. I felt acceptance, but I've never really had like. I've always been trying to figure out like where I fit in that specifically.
Right.
And Jonas helped me with that a lot, for sure, because like he was my first I don't know. He matched me that way, I guess.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So for people who don't know about this, obviously, our being first time on here, you probably don't know this, but I was adopted at birth. I was raised by a white family, so I didn't have that black culture growing up. My parents tried to connect me with certain people and things like that to help give me a little taste of that, but I never had that until I met Sam. And of course, after me and Sam got closer, then I met Uncle Lamont, and then Aunt Lovey, and now I finally kind of had that black family around me. But up until that point, the way that I spoke a lot of times to other black people, they'd be like, "Why you sound so white? Why you act so white? You whitewashed." All these different things, and I was just like, my skin color's black. Like,
you black?
Yeah, you are.
I'm pretty sure. Last time I checked, I'm black.
You black?
So that's kind of where that fitting in to the black community. Because I was like, you tell me I gotta be a certain way to be black? Why is that the case? We're both genetically rooted from the same type of blood, same communities, but I gotta dress a certain way to be black. I gotta speak a certain way to be black. I gotta talk a certain way to be black. What?
Or get teased.
Or yeah, right. And so I'm like, can I not just be like, I'm black? I'm black.
You are.
I'm black.
You in fact are.
I have a lot of people.
I believe you. I believe you.
A lot of people. Like, I had a lot of people come up to me and be like, "Dude, well, your skin is dark." I'm like, I know I'm black. I'm like, so just a lot of times, I know I'm like, a lot of times whenever people come up to me and stuff like that, other people who are black as well, again, just oh, you talk that way, you're not black. I was just like, what are you talking about? So back to Sam's point about trying to kind of fit into that community and everything like that. It was always weird, but here's the thing: I never really targeted myself or aimed myself at fitting in at a certain community. I didn't care. I want to fit in with everybody that I can, But if we're talking about the specifics, obviously, yeah, it was a little bumpy trying to get in there sometimes and kind of find my place within that community sometimes. So
also, could I build off of
Yeah,
it, like,
yeah,
super
please.
quick? I feel like you were naming a lot of things, like you're not this, because there's a lot of stereotypes that plague the black community, and just inherently, it's like we don't live up to those.
right.
For better or for worse, it's like I don't do basketball.
Right,
like,
right,
for better or
right.
for the good and the bad, it's like there's obviously there's givens and there's
Right.
things that I love, and I love my community and I love who I am, and a lot of it, but also like I feel like when you're black, they want to put you in a box
They
a
do.
lot of the time. So it's one of those times where it's like, for me, I didn't fit what a lot of people thought I was supposed to fit being a black kid.
That's right.
Neither do you. So it was one of those things where it's just figuring out where I stand and what things I want to show and then what things I want to not show.
Right.
And let me ask you this. So, Jake, from your perspective, you on the outside looking at all this when we came together and the things we kind of talked about we want to do, how it grew. Can you talk about how we, we talked about the Harmony Discipleship Center and all those things, but in your heart, from the outside looking in, as the group grew, what was your experience? Because we came in expected to deal with a few guys, and let's hear from you.
Yeah, my initial engagement into the culture of the men's breakfast and all that was, I get uncomfortable. I'm kind of a shy, introverted guy. I tend to kind of stick to familiar things because you put me in an uncomfortable social situation and I get nervous, and I tend to kind of back away from those. So to fully engage in that was a bit challenging to see how I fit in, but the initial stages of those with the team building experiments, Mr. Paul and some of the things, with the big rope and the circle, and it's like how are we gonna navigate, joining together as a team? And it was such an incredible ice-breaking opportunity that once I realized that all the people that I'm with, we've got different races, different people from in terms of ages as well, genders, and it was just so. It was very disarming of all of my anxiety that I felt. So I really immediately began to feel peace, and then I was able to focus more on the people that were there rather than my own fear and insecurity about not fitting in. So, and then when we got to additional levels of, even just within the same initial stages with the listening circles, where we could just sit there and take time to not only share your own heart and your own personal struggles and things like that in a safe and vulnerable way, but then you get the opportunity to listen to the stories of others and how they're going through very, very similar things, because at the end of the day, we all put our pants on one leg at a time. We all need the same basic things. And so to be in a community where you feel safe and secure and loved and appreciated for who you are, while still being open and vulnerable enough to share who you truly are, was very it's hard to describe the feeling that it gave me. It was very fulfilling. It gave me incredible joy to be in that environment.
It was great.
Those were, they were incredible dynamic moments for me. So, what about you? How did this all initially come together? Do you have? It was just mainly just getting the guys together.
It was
right?
them. It was them. What really shocked me about it. Like my son is going into his senior year. Well, senior year, gonna go to college, and I was like, okay, well, Sam's gonna be gone soon, pretty much. And when he's gone, I'm not gonna have this opportunity. So I said, let's have a breakfast. Jake, let's get Sam and his friends. He's got some friends there, young believers. And it was like, okay. But the thing that struck me more than anything was, and also we played basketball with him and a few times and talked smack. And I was intentional on getting to know his friends, over those past few years, those years before he got out of high school. And what killed me, they would come up and say, hey, Miss Lamont, when you gonna do that breakfast again? And I'm like, and it was, I go to a game, I pick Sam up, hey, we're gonna when's the next one? And I was just like, this is weird, I was really happy because young kids wanted to spend time with us. I mean, you want to hang out with us? It's like, okay, well, Jake, they want to do it again.
They got their circle of friends.
So we just kept on doing it, and then it started growing, and we said, we'll invite some more guys. And then after that, it was some stuff was going on in the society, and people and Christian, they were just like, man, we gotta take a stance. It's so much division, we got to come together. That's pretty much what was happening. And then women started coming, and everybody, it was just like, and it just grew. And it was like, now we got a building, and we were just doing a lot of different stuff, So for me, it was exciting to see something just start out so generic, just kind of being with my son and his friends, to just grow. And it was, so it was really kind of cool. Let me ask y'all this, I know on this episode, let me ask you, so now, both these guys have gone off to college and they got a taste of college and those things, but I guess for this episode we're going to get you back on here, but what has probably been you guys' biggest challenge from going from little award-winning high school kids to now you in this big old world? And I think both of you guys have had some experiences that kind of that you found out that being a man is tough out here.
It's not easy.
It is. I'll just start off by saying this. If it wasn't for people like you and Jake and having those older gentlemen in those communities and things like that, I wouldn't have been able to walk the way that I was walking, stepping out to that world. I would have been walking way differently from how I would have been walking, or how I was walking through the listening circle and everything like that.
Let me throw something else in there, because Jonas and I, we got really close to. Jonas hadn't been around black people.
Right.
He had never had, dressing and a Thanksgiving dinner, soul food.
Making me hungry now.
I mean, come on now. And he's a big boy. He works out and does all that stuff. So he never had soul food and all that stuff. Never been around black people. So he also I got him a job at K&G, which is the most diverse shopping experience that you can have, and he got around some black people and all kinds of people there, so those adults there, that community that kind of wrapped around him, kind of shaped him to get some tools that he didn't have. 100%. But I wanted to kind of share that as well. Yeah,
100%. No, that was also another big piece that really helped to elevate my walk going out, transition from high school over into college and into the real world. But to the main question, I think the hardest thing about transitioning into the real world, and though I kind of knew it, I hadn't experienced it yet. There's a difference between knowing and actually experiencing it, right? In the moment of getting the award, everybody's clapping and cheering for you. You get some sense of like, oh, these people care. They're acknowledging you. When you get out there, nobody cares. No, nobody cares. They don't care. You can lose someone in your life, very important to you. Nobody cares. You can be going through the most detrimental thing of all time. Nobody cares. So
now let me give a little context to that, because that's for the listeners, that might be like, man, he lost all hope. But tell them your experience, briefly if you can.
Yeah. So I went over to Atlanta to go to college, and I went to a community college called Chattahoochee Tech. And it definitely was not what I was hoping for it to be. It felt right in the moment in terms of that decision, because it felt like it fit well with what I was trying to do, but it just didn't have that social element that I was looking for, and it lacked community and strong social presence. So that was one part of it. And then I got a new job at a store called Jose Bank. Great store, but just some of the people there wasn't the strongest, in terms of that. Like what I had at K&G, for example, it felt like a family. What I had over there just felt like a work environment. We're more focused on the numbers and things like that. We're not really having fun here. And then I moved in, I also moved with my grandparents at the time too, Gran and Pop-Pop. And on September 19th, I lost my Pop-Pop to a heart attack, unfortunately. And I texted my store manager and I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to come into work. I just lost somebody very important to me. And he texts me back and he goes, we're sorry for your loss, but not wanting to show up to work because it doesn't fit your convenience is not acceptable. You're putting a burden on your teammates by not being here today. And I was just like, what? If this was Mr. Ron, he would have been like, yeah, take your time off, man. You're good, buddy. I understand. We're gonna send you prayers and we're gonna send you love. It's not like that everywhere. You wish it could be, especially once you've had it. But then when you get something else, you're like, whoa, this ain't even close. So the biggest challenge was having to actually experience the reality that not everything is the way that you want it to be. Everything is going to be a little bit different and a little bit trickier than the experience that you may have had before somewhere else. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Sam?
Ours are so different in the best way, though. Ours are so different in the best way. Because I go to NTSU down the street. And initially it was, before I went to MTSU, I went to this 2-week program called Scholars a couple weeks before. And it gave me like a college boot camp, per se. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't alone because I was still at home, but I was with these new people for 12 hours a day. And it was the first time I kind of felt socially and like emotionally alone because all my friends had gone. So, it was a transition from having a community to making a new one. And when that comes to just like my transition to manhood, it was just realizing that you need to be comfortable alone, which I kind of always find my comfort in other people. And I kind of see that because I see myself as extroverted. But it was the first time I'm kind of like, okay, I'm by myself. I'm in this new setting. I need to embrace it, and I need to get out my comfort zone. And I feel like that's just life because there's seasons when you're alone or when you're not with people and you kind of have to embrace that. And I found peace in that, but it took a while.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
good. Sorry if I add one more thing. The isolation part that you mentioned too, I think that's something that we share in common as well because, like the boys and everything like that went off to all these, different colleges and stuff like that. I moved into an entirely new city that, only been to a couple times to visit my grandparents at the time. And so like when I was there, I had nobody except for my grand and pop really. So, and then my Auntie Sarah and Uncle John, everybody like that. But in terms of like that, like friendships, didn't really have a lot of those. And so you really had to learn how to embrace being alone. And then this is the last part I'll add, but I will say this, that when you learn to be alone, you learn how to move forward doing anything. And I mean that from the standpoint of if you can only thrive when you have a community, that's not going to be the best thing in the world for you because you're not always going to have that community. So when you learn how to thrive alone, then you can really thrive through anything, So that was probably one of the biggest lessons I learned. That you still need that community here and there. Like you need to go back to your corner every once in a while to get pointers from your coach. But when it's time to get back out there and do your thing, bam, you get out there, throw a couple jabs, left hook, all that type of stuff. But here and there, you do need to go back to your corner, take a break, get pointers, get recharged. And then when it's time, you step back out that corner and you get back rolling again.
Because you're in the ring by yourself.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. You're coaching in the ring with you.
Right. That's it.
He's just down on the side.
You know what strikes me about your story is 25 plus years ago now, I also left my home and moved all the way down to Atlanta by myself for work. And I felt an incredible amount of isolation there too. And I didn't previously have a community during those years before. Well, I had some for sure, but I didn't find any way to duplicate community out there. And I really had some emotional struggles for
Right.
a while there. So
Yeah.
it's amazing how every time we talk, there's more elements of the story. I realize we're all alike, you know, and that's why we need each other, and that's why what we're doing through all the things that we are doing and the things that we want to accomplish is,
That's right.
I feel it's going to be very dynamic and powerful. And we're trying to be trailblazers in this area so we can be the example for those when we need it.
That's it. Well, Jake, I think we had another decent episode.
Yeah, man.
No, I think
This has been great.
It is.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
I just
loved
want to
it.
thank Sam. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your heart. Jonas, thank you for giving your additional levels of context and
Yeah.
detail. And Lamont, thank you
Oh, man.
for joining us today.
You think we can have them back?
We'll leave it to a community vote.
Talk to your people.
Talk to
Yeah.
your people.
That's it.
My
Put in a good
lawyer-
word for us.
JJ, what do you think? We'll talk to JJ. We got to see what the production.
My
manager
lawyer will
says.
contact your guys'
Right.
lawyer.
That sounds good.
Your people talk to
That's
us.
it. I'll be expecting a message from him soon.
Okay, it'll be a cease and desist.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for joining us today on the Walk Differently podcast. Please subscribe and like and share this episode with a friend. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, we want to hear how you're walking differently too. Thank you.
Thank you.